Welcome back, everyone. So this is the long-awaited update on the Christopher Watts case and the events that took place around this tragic series of events where he killed his wife, his two daughters, and his unborn son, Nico. So what has taken place in this case? First off, the house. The house there has not sold. The auction for it and the sale of the home has been postponed multiple times. And now it has been postponed probably until the end of July at the earliest because of what is going on in the world. Coronavirus has definitely affected the sale of the home, and JP Morgan Chase, the bank that holds the mortgage on the home, has come out and said that they are going to stop and put off the sale of the home, along with the federal regulations to stop foreclosures on additional homes. They're going to put off the sale of this home until probably the end of July at the earliest. So the home, the mortgage that Christopher Watts and Shan'ann had, they owed $349,938.09 on the home at the time of these events. They were 2 months behind on their mortgage at that point, but that is what they owed on the home. The county assessor there has listed their home, and it's still on their county website if you want to go check on it. It has an appraised value of $550,000 is the assessed value of the home and property. The true value, according to real estate agents who are out there and who work in this market, they believe the house is closer to actual real value is $489,000. Now, I know a lot of people think that they should bulldoze the house and put like a park there. They should do something, after bulldozing the house, or just leave it as a memorial to the tragic offense. Because nobody would want to live in a home where somebody killed someone else. And these grisly, acts of, and selling the home off to somebody else. Look, Shan'ann and the girls were killed in that house along with Nico. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are people out there who work in the real estate industry, and their entire job, they solely, work in this one area, is they sell homes to others that have had tragic events like this. They go by several different names, but in a nutshell, they practice property sales for high-profile properties where tragic events have taken place. In the United States, in 2018 and in 2019, the last 2 full years, there is actual data for, because we are in 2020, and there is not full data for 2020 yet, because we're only in the 4th month of the year. 1,986 homes were sold where somebody else was murdered in the homes. Of those properties, of the, across the United States, we're talking from East Coast to West Coast, 431 were homes where children were killed. Not just the parent, but the children. In case you want an actual reference to the home where children were actually killed along with the parent, look no further than the names that are here at the top of the screen. These homes of these killers were all sold in 2019 after they killed their families in their homes. Moving on. Cheryl Cadle. the author of Letters from Chris, spoke about releasing a second book, a follow-up to Letters to Chris. How successful was the book? Was the boycott and those who were out there on social media telling people not to buy the book, was it any success? Not really. Not really at all. On Amazon alone, she sold 879,829 copies, printed copies of the book. You got that right. Almost 1 million books. 879,829 copies. 217,309 digital copies were sold. And in person, at book signings and events, 63,114 copies were sold, where she signed the book, bringing the total sales record as of the 1st of March, when the last information was released. 1,160,252 copies were sold. That's how many copies of her book have sold. That ranks her book, Letters from Chris, between 211,000 and 370,000, the sales ranking on Amazon. It goes up and down as other book sales, come and go. But she's within the top 100% of books sold on Amazon last year. It has a 2.5-star review, and the only reason why it has a 2.5-star review, besides the book is awful, it's very poorly written. This is clearly, not something that is her best work. And I have read some of her other, shorter version stories that she has out there that she's printed on and published online. The 2.5 stars review that she got is mainly because of a lot of people who slammed it, and they're not even certified purchasers of the book. People just hated it and pushed it in the ranking down. But it hasn't stopped the sales. The boycott of her book didn't stop her sales. Next, Dodge Correction Center, where Christopher Watts is currently being housed. What's new on the Christopher Watts side of it since he's been in prison? He has a menial prison job. He helps clean the floors. He runs a floor buffer, and he sweeps and mops. That is his job. So if he thought he was going to, he wanted to get out of this entire thing and become a NASCAR, mechanic someday, that's never going to happen, Chris. All your lofty dreams of living with Nicole and, and not having any burden anymore, those dreams are gone, Chris. Now, you get paid less than minimum wage to sweep and mop floors. Mail to Chris has slowed down quite a bit. The high point, he was getting 200 to 225 letters and cards a month. The mail has now slowed to 50 to 60 pieces of mail a month, according to a CI who spoke on the condition of anonymity to me and to another creator here on YouTube. It was a joint 3-way call. No, this person is not just my CI. Cindy George, author of the book Chris Watts' Mistress, about Nicole, has been granted approval to visit Christopher Watts in prison. Is this so she may write another book about Christopher Watts and his mistress Nicole? Most likely. But she has been granted, and she is now on the approved list of those who are able to go visit Christopher Watts in prison. Now, on the tragic side, besides the fact that he killed Shan'ann, Bella, Cece, and Nico, there are two groups who are still working, tirelessly, I should say, to get the laws in Colorado and on the federal level changed. Because in this case, there in Colorado at the time of these events, there was no homicide law for killing an unborn child. Both of these groups are looking to get state and federal law changed to make it homicide in the death of a child like Nico. But it should be noted, one of these groups is not really looking out for the best interest of a child who may have been killed because of a parent killed the mother of the unborn child. They are an adamant group that has fought for years to get federal law and Roe v. Wade removed from federal law and have abortion outlawed in the United States. This group is working, and they've changed their name now twice as the group that behind this story and efforts to get laws changed in Colorado and on a federal level. So I'm not sure exactly what name they're going by. The last name that they went by is they called themselves Freedom for the Unborn. But they are working to get federal law changed. Not necessarily in the memory of Nico. They're using it as Nico as our end around. A reason to gather signatures. A reason to push their own agenda. It's not to protect Nico and to protect children like Nico and to punish people who kill the mother and the unborn child. It is solely to change federal law. Regardless of who you are and what you believe, you shouldn't let people manipulate you like this. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're manipulating people to push their own agenda. Christopher Watts killed his wife, Shan'ann, his daughter, Bella, his daughter, Celeste, Cece, and his unborn son. For what? As hard as it is still, after all this time, to fathom that anyone would ever do it. We've seen it happen twice in the United States since then, and it will happen again and again. Because we don't reach out and we don't stop the monster before he rears his ugly head. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. The next Christopher Watts could be sitting next to you right now. Could be in the cubicle, or it could be the guy at the gas station or supermarket or the stockbroker who takes care of your 401k. We don't know. There are no outward signs necessarily pointing to which ones are going to go over this edge, who are going to annihilate their families because they believe it's the only solution, because they believe their family is suffering just as much as they are. Thank you for joining me today. You stay safe out there. Until next time.